Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Going for Two with Jack Taylor. My name is Jack Taylor,
My name's Hunter too.
and we are back with another episode all about college baseball. We'll be reviewing our midweek game against Valparaiso, a run rule win in 7 innings, and we'll be previewing our weekend series against Lipscomb. We're back in Starkville for 3 more games before we hit the road and go to Biloxi. So super excited to talk about those games. 4 games against lower level teams before we really get started into SEC play, kind of the final tune-up weekend, and so we're excited to bring all of these games to you, and then also close to the end of the episode we'll mention some other big games going on around the country this weekend. So before we go any further, obviously today is Friday morning, and we want to start your Friday off with some motivation. As we've stated during baseball season, we're doing AI motivation. Artificial intelligence is providing the motivation for these episodes. So let's start it off. It might be the longest motivational quote in Going for Two history. It actually undoubtedly is. So buckle up. Here is Friday morning AI motivation. Hello, Bulldogs. You have just won a thrilling overtime game against Florida in the SEC tournament. You have shown your toughness, your clutchness, and your will to win. You've also taken a big step towards securing your spot in the March Madness tournament. You've shown that you belong among the best teams in the country. But you're not done yet. You still have more games to play in the SEC tournament. You still have more opportunities to improve your resume and your seeding. You still have more chances to make history. You're not here by luck. You are here because you earned it. You're here because you've played hard, played smart, and played together. You're here because you're Bulldogs. And Bulldogs don't settle for any less than their best. Bulldogs don't rest on their laurels. Bulldogs don't let anyone take away their momentum. Not true. Bulldogs fight for every possession, every rebound, and every point. Bulldogs play with passion, pride, and purpose. Oh, you thought that was it? Nope. Bulldogs play as a team, as a family, as a brotherhood. You've already shown that you can beat anyone in this conference. You've already shown that you can win on the road. They have not beaten everyone in this conference, by the way. You have already shown that you can bounce back from adversity. Now it's time to show that you can win it all. Don't let anyone doubt you. Don't let anyone stop you. Don't let anyone take away your dream. You have what it takes to be champions. So go out there and play like it. Play like Bulldogs. And follow your coach Chris Jans, who has earned the nickname of the dentist by College Basketball Insider John Rothstein. He is called the dentist because he drills into opponents with his trademark defense. He is called the dentist because he makes them feel pain and discomfort. He's called the dentist because he extracts wins from tough situations. He is the dentist, and he knows how to make you smile. So listen to him, trust him, and respect him. He's the dentist, and he will lead you to glory.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about.
I couldn't have said it better myself, but I really don't know how it applies to this baseball team. So maybe we'll figure out, there's probably another team playing somewhere on campus.
Softball, maybe?
I don't know.
Track?
Does the basketball team have a dentist as their head coach?
That seems
unqualified.
Yeah.
All right. So, Valparaiso. Midweek game, Tuesday night in Starkville. Finally back in Starkville after that brutal three-game stretch in Frisco. Last episode, we said that as we previewed the Valparaiso game, we needed 3 things to happen. We needed perfect defense. We needed the offense to just I think I even said perfect offense as well.
I think you said the offense needs to mash.
Needs to match. Okay. So it needs to match. I really just meant we need double-digit runs. I didn't know if the run rule was going to be in effect because this year it's it can be if the coaches agree on it, or it can't be, whatever. And I also wanted Bradley Lofton to, I think we said 6 innings, but I really just wanted him to get up there in his pitch count and get out of his own jams and everything. And man, when I say all 3 of those things happened, that was our recipe for the victory. And again, it was a game against Valparaiso. It's one that you expect to win 100 times out of 100. And early on, it didn't really look great.
Lofton looked good.
Right, he did. But it was scary at first offensively. Like I think we mentioned that like it would be great if we could score first. So Bradley Lofton, who's kind of had these command issues, can just focus on throwing strikes. He doesn't have to focus on keeping us in a game like he did against Southern Miss. He just had to focus on throwing strikes and you know, just I mean I don't know, just get to the 6 inning mark. Just be effective instead of having to place pitches and
Be perfect.
just right, yeah. So offense through the first 3 innings had 6 guys left on base. I think we had 7 base runners total, but there was a double play that kind of erased one. But yeah, 6 guys left on base through 3 innings, and so it was kind of looking like it was just going to be another game, from this past weekend. Like it just no timely hitting whatsoever. Like we were being gifted runners, but through walks, hit by pitches, and we just couldn't get them in. And finally, we were able to break that open in the 4th inning. But as impressive as the offense was, I expected them to score double-digit runs. I expected us to hit up and down the lineup. Just talk me through what you saw from Bradley Lofton and how impressive that was.
Yeah, the first 2 innings he faced the minimum, and he looked like really good. People were a little upset that he was going full counts. I do not care. He was getting guys out and not putting them on base.
Yeah, I bet the same people
and
those same people probably complained about Ethan Small, and he was the best pitcher in the SEC.
It doesn't matter just because they're not pitching the contact. That's not
right.
The sport right now.
Yeah,
but in the first 2 innings, I really liked what I was seeing, and then our offense kind of got the thing where it was like, oh, it's going to be another one of these games. And you could kind of tell that Lofton was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to be perfect for this one. And then he started just missing pitches, like he was just pulling them. And that inning, I think it was 3rd inning, got a little gross. But he got out of it. And then I think it was, what inning did we start, like, absolutely mashing?
We scored first in the 4th inning.
Yeah, so after that third,
I think we had 6 in that inning.
Yeah. So he kind of got out of that, and then the offense showed up, and everyone's like, okay, now we got to get Lofton out of there so we don't lose this one. You saw what he looked like before. And then he goes out there, and he is absolutely lights out in the rest of the game. Like, he was legit.
Right. He gave up 2 hits on the game. One of them was, it got just between the home plate and the pitcher's mound. I mean, it was just an awkwardly placed ball, and he kind of slipped trying to field it. That counted as an infield hit, and then one, I think there was a line drive into left field. But I mean, the only other base runners were walks from him, and like that we see the command issues. But me and you talked about, like, I mean, he's 18 years old and kind of has like a little bit of an anger issue. Like, and it's not even anger; it's just like he's amped up. Like,
he wants to be good.
Like Foxhall went out there to talk to him, and you wanna give us a little bit of what you saw him say?
There were some people that tried to do the lip reading on it, but I didn't go back and see it. But it went with just effing let me pitch. Was said in that mound meeting, and after that he was good. So
right after the game, I did watch Lemonis's press conference, and somebody asked him about that, like, do you like having a pitcher that's that animated or that like confident, or I don't know what word was used, but Lemonis just kind of laughed and was like, well, I'd probably rather have like a poker player, like just somebody who doesn't show that much emotion or any at all. But he's like, right, yeah.
See, I want Kumar Rocker.
but instead you get JT Ginn and Landon Sims and now Bradley Lofton. If he can live up to those 2 guys.
Will showed his emotions a lot.
He did. That game against Vanderbilt, and obviously through the whole Omaha.
Anytime that he was bad, he was like visibly angry.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was thinking about just his
positive
best moments.
wise.
yeah.
All of our pitchers
Christian
been
McLeod.
like that?
Right.
CMC always looked mad. So.
Yeah. Christian McLeod didn't really show emotion, or like never showed positive emotion. So like.
I saw him smile that one time he got out of that big jam.
I don't get behind guys like that. And ultimately, he had a better career at Mississippi State than Jackson Fristow did, but Jackson Fristow showed like emotion no matter what the situation. So I was always like behind him. Like I always would pull for Fristow. So yeah, just showing emotion, not a bad thing. And Lamonis didn't.
He's probably playing like joking about it.
Right. I mean, he knows that he's 18 years old and he's gonna have some sort of learning curve.
Like
yeah,
like
it's a known thing. It just seemed like all of Lofton's misses were all like pretty. They were all down. And they were just pulling away. He's left-handed. So they were going into like towards the right-handed batter's box. So like when all the misses are to one place, I think that's a mechanic fix that you can make. When it's Casey Hunt or Eric Sarantola, like those issues where you don't know where the ball is going as it's coming out of his hand, that's a completely different thing. That's way more mental than it is physical.
He did have a change in his mechanics from the USM game. There used to be like a stop at the top of his thing. They took that out.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, there were a few people. There's like a scout like on Gene's page, and he was like, "Yeah, they took that out, so that's good."
I do like watching Lofton pitch. His put away pitch is definitely like a 88, 87 mile an hour changeup that.
I don't know how it doesn't get barreled.
I don't understand put away pitches being changeups, but. If it works, it works. I mean, 11 Ks through 6 innings is no joke. What did he have? 5 or 6 walks, something like that.
I think it was 5.
Yeah,
because one was
those
were
early
and
on
then
too.
That third inning was probably 3 of them.
Right, I think so. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was great. He showed exactly what we kind of said he needed to, and I think moving forward, if Eintema has another bad appearance or two. I think that it's going to be Bradley Lofton kind of competing with Cade Smith for that starting role. And whichever one we don't see win that, we're going to, whichever one loses that little battle is going to be found in the bullpen for SEC play. So pretty excited about having one of those two guys starting, one of those two guys hopefully doing some long relief in the pen. So
yeah, I mean, I know our pitching isn't good. But, like, when you look at it and, like, if you don't put in the bad guys, there's a decent bit of guys that I trust their upside.
Right. And we mentioned last episode, like, there are guys coming back that could really bolster our bullpen. And, you know, if we can just bridge the gap to get to them. And, like I said, I don't know any updates on Parker Stinnett or Pico, but I have heard that Aaron Nixon and Cade Smith are going to be back probably by the first SEC weekend, which is next weekend.
Apparently, some of them are going to be back like this weekend.
Okay. I mean, if I could see some of them in a limited role, I mean, I would be a lot more confident heading into big games.
Because like I'm gonna go through the thing that I sent you on Instagram. So like our starters, Lou, Cade, Gartman, Lofton, and then relievers, Eitema, Sierra, Holcomb, Pico, Tapper, Parker. And then closers, Dom and Nixon. Like, that's a lot of pitchers that I don't want to see out there.
Right.
I could trick myself into, like, okay, this is gonna be good.
Yeah, I mean, I think early on I had really, really bad emotions when I saw Colby Holcomb coming in. He's 6'6", 250, by the way, which is a giant pitcher.
Yeah.
And he had a really bad outing against VMI. I think a bad one against ULM as well. But against Ohio State, he came in and was just the victim of 3 errors in a row. So obviously, I'm not putting anything
he was
against him on
filling
that.
Up the zone.
Yeah, I mean, doing what he needed to do. And then I think this is his best outing yet. He comes in the 7th inning and probably would have pitched another inning or two maybe if we hadn't run ruled Valparaiso. But he comes in for the 7th inning, gets a 1-2-3 inning with 2 strikeouts. I mean, that's as dominant as you can be. So I was excited to see him finally have just a really clean outing, good defense around him and everything. So hopefully that's just another bullpen arm.
Yeah,
there for us moving forward.
I'm feeling cautiously better about our pitching
Yeah.
situation, just because like I can look around the rest of the SEC except for like 3 teams and be like, oh, okay, they're going through the same thing. Like,
Yeah, I mean, Ole
our
Miss is
starters and our relievers are better than Ole Miss's statistically right now.
right. I mean, their starting pitching is I think worse than the SEC. Ole Miss's is. Um, the
And I
thing
know
that
they're
is,
going to turn around, so why can't we? Like,
yeah, the thing that's keeping Ole Miss, like, I'm not going to say keeping them afloat because I know they're a great team, but like the thing that has prevented them from dropping stupid games like we have is their defense. They have committed 3 errors on the year because they have a veteran infield and I've really good outfielders too. But yeah, we've committed 3 errors in games probably 4 or 5 times already this year, and they've committed 3 all year. So I mean that's just playing clean baseball really does win games when your pitching isn't where it should be.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's what we had for the pitching. I mean, only 2 pitchers, and that's kind of rare for a midweek game. But like I said, I mean, Bradley Lofton, every time he goes out there in a midweek, he's trying to prove himself to be a bullpen arm or to be a weekend arm, excuse me. And he did just that. I mean, that was a really really gutsy performance, especially early on when we didn't have a commanding lead.
I was really glad to see that from Lofton. I like him.
Yeah, and I was just really glad to see that the coaching staff would let him, kind of stretch that to maybe close to 90 pitches. I'm pretty sure, if not a little over 90. But yeah, so obviously pitching was good. Had the scary first 3 innings for the offense, but obviously that came around too. We won the game 12-2. And every starter on offense, everybody in the lineup got a hit, at least one in the game. And anytime you can say that, I mean, it's been a good night for the offense. I'm gonna mention a few guys, and Hunter, I'll let you finish this out for the Valpo game. But Bryce Chance is just continuing to be a really really solid hitter. He moved up to the 3 hole again for this game, which he'd kind of been bouncing between the 3 and 7 spots. And whereas hitting has obviously been good and really consistent, what I'm starting to see more and more is his base running. He's turning like first to third situations or scoring from first on balls hit to the outfield, just getting really good reads on them. And I mean, that's just something I don't really know that you can teach. That's just him taking his spot and running with it. When there's a guy named Dakota Jordan who is really, really highly recruited, that's sitting there waiting for him to slip up, and he just won't. So Bryce in this game, he reached base 3 times. It was 2 hits and a walk. He had 2 RBIs. He scored twice, and he stole a base in this game. So, I mean, he's just doing it all offensively, and he's obviously serviceable in left field too. I mean, there's no glaring issues there. And finally, we did see Luke Hancock come around. 2 doubles, 2 walks. One was to the right center field gap. One was down the left field line. I mean, that's Luke Hancock at his finest. Just finding gaps, just hitting the ball all across the field. That is what we want to see, and really all that we've been asking for. I mean,
can he be my 3-hole hitter?
Yeah, I like him. Not with the bases loaded.
I like him without 2 outs.
Yes. He can, because I know we've dogged on him for the strikeouts, but I don't think that's going to be the common thing for him. Productive outs are his thing.
Yeah,
and whether
it's the him in the 4 spot, and with his eye that he has, he walks a ton, and I get up to my 4-hole hitter, and he walks, and I'm like, okay, now Dakota, not even Dakota, I have to trust
Slade.
Hunter Hines, or Slade Alford, and I'm like,
yeah, I get that. I mean, even if he was in the 2-hole, we've had Colton come up with the bases loaded a lot, and a bases loaded walk, shoot, I'll take that, and then maybe Colton.
I don't know. It's weird because we don't have a cleanup hitter right now, and we have 8 guys that should be cleanup hitters.
Right. I don't know. I mean, they'll obviously be tinkering in the order, probably all throughout the year. I know in 2021, other than like a really weird spot where Scotty DeBrule was like the
Lead off
9-hole
for a
hitter.
while.
What?
Scotty was leadoff for a while.
Yeah, but uh, he was like a 9-hole hitter at one point. I guess it ended up with him being like probably seventh, and then Kellum eighth, and Lane ninth. But I mean,
Wasn't Scotty up like fifth?
was he?
I
That might actually make sense.
think he was. He
Yeah.
got pretty high up there towards the end because
Right, okay.
Kellum was 8, Lane was 9.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who was 7. Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I just feel like for the most part, like, I mean, you knew Rowdy was going to be 1, TA was going to be 2, Logan Tanner was going to be like 5th or 6th. I mean, everybody had their roles.
Yeah, Cam 3.
Right, yeah. Everybody had their roles, and like after a certain point, like we just didn't touch it because it was just working, and we were 20-10 in the SEC. We were an incredible team. Now it's like every game is going to be different. Bryce Chance might be bouncing between the 3-hole and 7-hole every single game. We just don't know. But obviously, I've talked about Bryce, talked about Luke. Who else did we see that kind of popped off in this game?
Yeah, Hunter and Kellum went back to back. Hunter Hines hit a ball higher than it was far, and this ball went 446 feet or something.
Jeez.
So that's crazy.
Still not further than Nico's, even though people try to say it.
Yeah, it went very, very high, it looked like.
Yeah.
Just goofy. And then after all of that stopped, Kellum just knocks one.
Yeah.
And it looked like every Kellum home run I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Kellum's spray chart for home runs.
Yeah.
It's
Dude,
gotta-
that one in Frisco was crazy.
That's the farthest towards center field he's ever hit one.
Right. I don't think he doesn't do oppo home runs at all.
Mm-mm.
And Hunter Hines is even less oppo than that. I mean, his are like right down the line every time.
Yeah, but yeah, they both got their nice home runs. It was good to see. Like my Twin Towers right there, and then the freshman sighting of David Mershon was exhilarating.
Right.
His first at bat, he smoked a ball and it was a double play, and then the next time he came up, he put down a bunt, like wasn't squaring for it, just knocked one down, ran it out.
Yeah. It was like a softball hit.
Like, and he didn't stop after that.
Right.
He was just good. He's fast, heads up base running, perfect, and like he didn't get many chances in the field because Lofton was dealing, but like
Right.
the left side of our infield is so fast right now.
The one time I saw him get an attempt at defense, it was a play that like kind of looked like a shortstop play, which he looked comfortable doing that because he was a shortstop all throughout high school. And you know, college baseball teams are always going to be full of players who are shortstops in high school, so it's not an uncommon thing. But this is like some of his first chances to play third base, and so I just think anytime he can look comfortable doing it, it's a good sign, whether it was like a shortstop kind of play or not. So
there was one that was like a pretty far play for both of them, and like him or Lane could have done it, could have gotten it, and
right.
it was just like, ooh, that's fun. I don't really have to think about which one I want to get that ball.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned his heads up base running. I think there was like a line drive to left field. They went like straight to the left fielder. But I mean, he got down for a hit, and he was on first base and he went first to third on that play, like right in front of the outfielder. So anytime stuff like that happens, just hustle plays, like just like Bryce Chance, like he's fighting for a spot over Slate. That, I mean, as he's playing like this, and I know this is one midweek game against Valparaiso, but like stuff like that's going to keep you in a lineup. And it was just kind of funny seeing on the same field Colby Holcomb, who's 6'6", 250, and then David Mershon, who's 5'7", like 165.
Thank you for saving me by calling him short and saying he's 5'7" instead of 5'8".
I think he might be 5'8".
He's literally 5'8".
But yeah, so Um, it was really good to see him. Right now, I think. I mean, again, I know it was one midweek game. Slate's had good games too. So David Mershon, I would be. I'm not going to say I'm going to be shocked if he's not starting on Friday, because Lemonis is wacky. But I think we'll definitely see some more of him this weekend. So right now, before we preview our game against Lipscomb, though, I did want to kind of mention what me and you had talked about, like the best lineup right now, which I think is going to be the big deal moving forward with the season. Like, there's no like giving the veterans like the benefit of the doubt. Like, I think it's just ride the hot hand while you have it, and then when they cool down, just replace them quick. We kind of saw us do that in center field last year with Jess Davis. I think Meshy, he got some time in center field.
Last year wasn't real. My God.
Cam James moved to center field. Just a freak show out there. But anyway, right now, I think like this weekend we should see Bryce Chance, Colton Ledbetter, and Kellum Clark in the outfield from left to right. And then in the infield, David Mershon, Lane, Amani, and Luke. Ross catching and Hunter DHing. If you wanted to go matchups and have a right-handed DH instead of Hunter, I mean, there's several options. We have Slade Alford. We have Aaron Downs. We have Connor Hijack. We have Dakota Jordan. I mean, he's been a starter all year.
And you can still do the thing where Luke can catch. Like you can still like do that if like it's good matchups. Like
right,
you can do it.
And we do have some left-handed options, not that aren't Hunter Hines, like the power hitter Vaughn Siebert, who definitely didn't just watch 3 strikes the other day when he got his pinch hit appearance.
Where were you when Nate Chester walked off Valpo?
It's just bizarre.
Future trivia question.
So yeah, I think that's what we're at right now. That's our ideal lineup, and whatever order they put him in, like I don't know. As long as Amani's hitting first, and Lane's hitting ninth, I don't really care what goes on in between that. But anyway, there we go.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
No, not really.
Forward? All right.
I mean, that was
we don't have much to say about Lipscomb. But
y'all
the good news
probably
is,
don't want to hear it.
Yeah, the good news is this is our last week of like lower level teams before we get into SEC play. It's our final tune-up week, and so hopefully we'll have like better quote-unquote scouting reports moving forward, because we're starting to play good teams in games that actually matter. So Lipscomb, they are 5-8 on the year. They have series wins over Notre Dame and Illinois Chicago. So those were their first 2 series of the year. And yeah, I mean, they started off the season really strong, but they're since on a 6-game losing streak. They've lost a midweek to Tennessee Tech. They got swept by Auburn and then lost back-to-back midweeks this week to Georgia Tech and Belmont. So just kind of on a rough skid right now. And, you know, who knows? They may be due, but they may just, I don't know.
Yeah. That's
they
a tough
may just
schedule.
see. That really is really tough. I mean, I know you may not know much about Belmont, but I mean that's a crosstown rivalry. They're both Nashville schools, so like I'm sure there's some
that loss streak that they're on. All of those are like pretty
right. I mean, Tennessee Tech is no slouch, and then you have a weekend series against a team that went to Omaha last year, and then Georgia Tech, who's like usually like a national seed, so or top 16 at least. So yeah, I mean that's a really tough stretch, and now they get to be awarded by coming to Starkville to play in a launch pad, which might not be the worst thing for them, because as it sits right now, they're 15th in the country in home runs out of 300 plus teams. They've got 25 on the year. That's tied with Arkansas and with Tennessee. They've got 5 different players on their roster who have 4 home runs apiece. So I mean, up and down the lineup, they've got guys that can hit for power. A couple guys on their team have over 300 average, but as I told Hunter, like I don't remember offensive players that I usually say, so I figured nobody else does either.
Yeah.
So got our pitching matchups, or at least what we think they're going to be. If you want to hit Friday, then we can just kind of alter.
Yeah. While I'm doing this, please look at Snapchat for what I sent you.
Okay.
So Friday they will be throwing Michael Dunkelberger. He's a left-handed pitcher, and he will be going against Durangelo Senja. He played 2 years in JUCO, second-year starter for Lipscomb. This year, he's off to an 0-2 start with a 7.9 ERA. But last year, he finished 7-2 with 3.45 ERA. Struck out 4 times as many as he walked. Might touch 90 with his fastball. Kind of sounds like another crafty lefty, but at some point we got to hit him. So I like Durangelo. I think I know we have the plus in this one.
Right.
Got to.
So yeah, like of the 3 pitchers we're gonna preview for them, he's definitely the most experienced, I think. At least for Lipscomb. But yeah, it might be off to a rough start this year, but they are playing, like we said, Auburn. They played Notre Dame, who not the same Notre Dame as we've seen the past few years. They're without Link Jarrett, their head coach, who's now at Florida State. But yeah, I mean, Michael Dunkelberger, I'm pretty sure history is going to tell you that, like, yeah, he's going to be a really good pitcher, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him have a really good weekend right here.
Yeah.
But just knowing how we are against left-handed pitchers, hopefully we have a few more right-handed bats in the lineup this time, or at least spread out a little bit more. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's a game against Lipscomb. We have Lou on the mound. He gives us our best chance to win on a Friday night, and I'm really, really glad that this is how it's worked out, that he's the Friday guy. So
yeah. Do you want to talk about this next one? I know you had a little bit of fun with their Saturday starter.
Yeah. So Saturday we have Ethan Smith. He's a right-handed pitcher. He'll be going against TBD, Mississippi State legend. We're not really sure what the deal there is, Hunter. You said it might have something to do with a rain delay, or
Sunday may get rained out, so then Saturday would be like 7-inning doubleheader. So
okay.
Like if we're thinking about starting Dom, you just go ahead and start him, since you're not going to be able to use him in 2 games this week, since it would be a back-to-back.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have the day in between. But also, please don't think about starting Dom. Please, I beg you. The TBD insert kind of looks like Dom. I'm kind of scared.
If you're going to do it for like 1 game, I would think a 7-inning game, not the worst thing in the world. But I don't want to see Dom as like a normal starter. Aitama did have a bad appearance last week, so like I understand if they're a little bit timid about putting him back out there, but I mean, I just think we have other options. Yeah. So,
and I'm sorry about like the phone noises going off. So I have like this Mac in my room now, and I have like iMessage going through it, but it has a speaker on it. But so when I mute my phone, it doesn't mute the computer. So that's why that's happening. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah.
Ethan Smith against TBD. Like I said, he's a right-handed pitcher. He's been on a few teams that Mississippi State fans might remember.
He was at heard of them.
He was at Vanderbilt in 19, 20, and 21. Yeah. So he was.
Does he have 2 rings? No, 1.
1, yeah.
Would have to.
Tennessee thought they had a ring last year. Yeah. So he was on the runner-up team that Mississippi State beat in the national championship game for Vanderbilt. Very, very limited action those 3 years at Vanderbilt, though, and so he took his talents across the state to Tennessee. I don't think those are across the state from each other. But anyway, so he was at Tennessee last year on just another insufferable team, and he threw 3 innings the whole year. Somehow he didn't even get in that 27-2 game against Mississippi State. So yeah, he decided to take his talents across the state to back to Nashville, but this time to Lipscomb, and now he's their Saturday starter. Truly has had a rough start to the year, and you're probably starting to see why Vanderbilt and Tennessee didn't need his talents. 9 2/3, a 9.31 ERA, 7 strikeouts to 6 walks. He gives up just under 2 walks and hits per inning. He just not that great of a start to the year. But
in
he
his
did have
career, he has thrown a third of an inning against Mississippi State.
Really?
Mm-hmm. His freshman year.
Oh, really? Okay, gotcha. There you go. So yeah, he's had one good appearance, and that was against Notre Dame. He went 5 with 2 hits and a run against against Notre Dame. Like I said, not the same team as last year, not the same offense that was just rocking Dudy Noble Field 2 years ago. And then last weekend against Auburn, he went 1 2/3, 7 hits, 7 runs. So I mean, he's had a good outing. He's had a really terrible outing, and so just because of that outing last week, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not their starter on Saturday. But that's who they're going with for the first 3 weekends. So I think that's who we'll see going against TBD. But Sunday starter, who you got?
Braden Tucker, right-handed pitcher, will be going against. Don't even think about moving him to Saturday starter. Landon Gartman, he is our Sunday guy.
We not considering
It is. I love that so much. Like, it is the best thing ever.
I love my comp to him just being like an old pickup truck. Like he's
just gonna get it done. What if he just goes
you from point A
undefeated
to
on the year?
We're just golden on Sundays.
And like not even like good. We just like
He's
win.
gonna give up 6 runs.
Then we just win. So Tucker is a grad transfer from Indiana. He is 18 innings pitched, 3 ERA, 13 Ks, 6 walks, 90-mile-per-hour fastball, and likes to pitch to contact. Best start was at Auburn. Went 7 and gave up 1 run on 3 hits, and that was a really good game. Auburn like walked him off like right after. No, they hit a 3-run bomb after he exited the game.
Right. Yeah. So they kind of wasted that really, really good. I mean, what kind of Sunday start is that? He's their best pitcher statistically on the year, and he's their Sunday starter.
My brother
so.
in Christ, look at Mississippi State. Except he's not statistically the best.
Yeah.
He's a warrior. He's an old pickup truck.
So I'm wondering if that's their strategy, like throwing their quote-unquote ace on Sunday.
Wasn't there an SEC team that did that a few years ago?
I mean, I like the strategy. I think it's a fun one. I think Mississippi State should have been doing that last year. But, yeah, anyway, I mean, that just to try to salvage a game here and there. And, hey, he got wins against Notre Dame and against USC.
Jack,
But
I want to bring something to your attention. Mississippi State did that last year.
Was Cade or something?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Preston was pretty dang good.
Either that or he was horrible.
Half of his outings, yeah. He was either going 7 shutout or giving up home runs.
Or going
to the
7
first 4.
and giving up 10.
Giving up home runs to the first 4 Ole Miss batters. But yeah, Braden Tucker, remember the name. He'll be our demise on Sunday.
Don't worry, we got Gartman up. He's going to give up 6 in a good outing.
We have the old Chevy in the bullpen. He's good. So yeah, that's what we got. Like I said, not really going to touch on their offense too much. They're going to hit home runs. I would not be surprised to see multiple home runs from them in probably each game of the series. That's just what they do, and Dudy Noble has proved to be a launch pad. The weather might not be the best for that. Kind of gonna be cold and rainy, but so that could help us out and will help us out if that's the case. But don't be surprised if Lipscomb comes out just hitting tank jobs for this weekend.
Yeah. Dang, tomorrow the high is like 63.
Dang. I'm just going to be on the colder side. All right. Anyway, some games going on around the country, and this will actually be our last segment because we didn't get any Instagram questions today.
Hot seat listeners?
Hot seat, going for 2 followers. Not gonna call out any names, but Courtney, come on. So yeah, games around the country this weekend. Pretty much all SEC teams, kind of like I said, or all SEC teams are in their final week of tune-up baseball because conference play starts next week. Ole Miss is the only team playing a Power 5 team. They're playing Purdue. Really not a great team, but I mean, neither are any of the other teams that SEC teams are playing. The only Power 5 conference that starts conference play this week is the ACC, which arguably the second best conference in baseball. They've got undefeated Virginia going against North Carolina, undefeated North Carolina State going to Miami, and then Notre Dame and Georgia Tech facing off in Atlanta. 3 good series there, and yeah, I think that's what we got.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
No, not really. Yeah, nothing happened in Mississippi State World tonight, so I think we're good.
No, nothing going on in the other sports. Actually, Oklahoma coming to Starkville to play softball series this weekend. That is not going to be a bloodbath, right?
We should go.
Hey,
people don't
Ian
talk
Hunter,
about how we turned around the softball program.
We were early on Mississippi State softball. We went to a game, and 2 years later, they hosted their first super regional. But anyway, I'm not here for the credit. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of Going for Two with Jack Taylor. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you enjoy another weekend of Mississippi State baseball. We'll be back on Sunday is there like a big show going on or something?
I don't know.
I don't know. We sleep in May. Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll be back next time on Going for Two with Jack Taylor. The dentist is crazy.
He knows how to make you smile. I don't think that's what dentists do.
Girl, you my Dairy Queen.
The show's over.
What are you still doing here?
They think we're gonna talk about some gibberish.
They think Luke is getting a shout out.